All right, this video will cover how Social Security works with divorced spouses or spouses who have passed away, or in fact, if both cases are true. So if your spouse is alive and you are currently married, we cover that topic in a different video that is here on our channel. Now, divorce benefits are very similar to current spousal benefits with a couple of tweaks. Let's look at an example using the same couple from our other video, John and Jane. John and Jane are divorced. John's full benefit, or PIA, is $2,000 a month, while Jane's is $800 per month. Even though they are no longer married, Jane is still entitled to either her own benefit or half of John's benefit, which in this example would be $1,000 and more than her personal benefit. Now, for Jane to receive spousal benefits from an ex-spouse, a few things need to be true. Number one, that marriage between those two must have lasted at least 10 years. Number two, the person receiving divorced spouse benefits, in this case, Jane, must be currently unmarried. If Jane were to marry somebody else, she is no longer entitled to John's spousal benefit. Number three, the ex-spouse must be at least 62 years old. In our example, John would need to be 62 for Jane to take spousal benefits once she qualifies to do so. Number four, and the last caveat here, is if the divorce was more than 2 years ago, the ex-spouse does not need to have filed for benefits. Remember that with regular spousal benefits, Jane can't take spousal benefits until John begins taking his own Social Security benefits. Well, if they are divorced for at least 2 years, Jane no longer needs to wait for John to take his own benefits before she can take the spousal benefits. Here are a few more interesting points with exes. Number one, more than one ex-spouse can receive benefits on the same worker's record, and those benefits paid to one ex-spouse do not affect the benefits paid to the worker or to the current spouse or to any other ex-spouses. So if John had a 10-year marriage with Jane that ended in divorce, and he had another 10-year marriage with Judy, and John is currently married to Jen, then Jane can get spousal benefits from John, Judy can get spousal benefits from John, and Jen can also get spousal benefits from John, all without affecting John's own personal benefit. Pretty wild. Notice that spousal benefits would stop if Jane or Judy got remarried, not based on John getting remarried. A misperception that we hear often is that people think that a ex-spouse benefit hurts one or the other. That is not the case. They really have nothing to do with each other. So if Jane were to be taking spousal benefits off of John, John doesn't see that. His benefits aren't affected. He can't do anything to stick it to Jane, and the same goes for Jane to John. If ex-spouses don't necessarily get along anymore, they don't have to communicate about this. Neither one has to approve it. This question comes up a lot, so I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. All right, let's move on to Social Security survivor benefits. These apply to those who have had a spouse pass away. We will continue to use pre-divorce John and Jane, where John's PIA is $2,000 a month, and Jane has the option of her personal benefit of $800 a month or her spousal benefit of half of John's, or $1,000 per month. Quick side note, there are a lot of different situations that could happen, including spouses having similar or equal PIAs, or the wife having a higher PIA than the husband. I just used the John and Jane example numbers for consistency, and in this example, let's say that John passes away. All right, the first major change between survivor benefits and the others that we have been talking about is that the surviving spouse, Jane, can start taking survivor benefits at age 60 rather than 62, or as early as 50 if Jane was disabled. If the spouse, Jane, does decide to take survivor benefits at age 60 or at any other age before her full retirement age, the benefits would be reduced. It would be based on these percentages here. The second major difference between survivor benefits and spousal benefits would be that the survivor is now entitled to the full benefit rather than half. It is the full amount that the deceased spouse was taking or was entitled to. So if John had reached his full retirement age, Jane would be entitled to his full $2,000 PIA benefit amount herself, based on her full retirement age and these percentages again. If John delayed his Social Security benefit and was entitled to more than his PIA based on delayed credits, Jane would also receive that higher amount, again, based on her full retirement age and percentages. Finally, let's say John passed away at age 62 and he was not taking Social Security benefits. Jane would be entitled to John's full PIA amount even though he had not reached his full retirement age. She would not have a reduced amount based on his age. She may have a lower amount based on her age, but if she met her full retirement age, she would get his full PIA. All right, John and Jane must have been married for at least 9 months from the date of death in order for Jane to qualify for survivor benefits, except in the case of an accident. For some reason, my mind goes to one of those murder mysteries, and I imagine that there's some intense scene where the prosecution asks the spouse why they killed their husband. The spouse has shifty eyes, leans into the microphone, and says, "I really wanted their Social Security benefit." All right, back to reality. If Jane remarries before she turns 60 or 50 if she is disabled, she no longer qualifies for John's survivor benefits unless her new marriage ends. An interesting story that we've seen more than once goes like this. John has a large Social Security benefit, but he passes away. Jane has a low personal benefit. Jane marries Mark before she turns 60, and Mark also has a lower personal benefit. We have 2 clients who have divorced their spouse, in this case Jane divorces Mark, to be eligible for the higher survivor benefit and then remarry that spouse after age 60. It's wild and it's out of the box, but it can make a significant difference in the income for the rest of that person's life. So to clear things up, you can take survivor benefits and remarry as long as that new marriage happens after age 60. The last part that we'll talk about, the combination of these last 2 sections, what if your ex-spouse passes away? So divorced spousal survivor benefits. This is a thing and something that you can take as long as your marriage to your ex-spouse who is now deceased lasted at least 10 years. This was all about Social Security benefits with divorce and death. If you have a current living spouse, be sure to check out the video that we have on the regular spousal benefits here on our channel. If this was helpful and you're feeling generous, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button to see more videos on Social Security and Medicare. I will see you in the next video.